So what about when the process may not be reliable in determining how that outcome is? For example, I've talked to people who believe in the law of attraction, for example. And I used to be one of those people. That's why I question what I question when I say, I mean, I can't speak for the medical part of it, but if I, like in the movie The Secret, we're talking about if I imagine or if my thoughts create my reality, these things are coming into my life as if there's a force beyond myself that's bringing that into me. Or if I study astrology, wherever the stars are determine my life. Now, when I used to believe these things myself, that's the hardest part is when I talk to people now, I used to live my life thinking that my astrology, me being a Pisces, determined my, my fortune or who I was going to be with. When I watched the law of attraction, I thought if I just thought, like in the belief, that's what the premise is that our thoughts create our reality. And when I was challenging it, I don't see a force outside of myself in that instance that's creating that process. And so when I challenge that with people, they say, well, this is what's happening. And I feel like they're correlating an event with something that they think is this. Do you see the problem with that? Or even when someone says, when I challenge them about religion and I say, what makes you believe in God? Like what makes you think that there's this external thing beyond ourselves? And they say, well, it's my experience. It's my thoughts, it's how I feel. You can't take my experience from me. And the question I have is, how is that reliable? If we can't always trust our experiences, we can't always trust our thoughts, if we're putting patterns together to do that, how do we understand this belief system outside of ourselves?
Well, I think it's a complex answer. I think the first part of the answer is if people are really, really believing that their astrological sign determines their destiny, then they will look for, based on their perception, the correlations that are equal to their belief system. I don't particularly believe that because I'm born at a certain time under a certain house that has anything to do with me creating the life that I want to have, right? So many people will, though. And because they do, they'll select like, oh, I saw 11:11 on the clock. Well, you've seen 2:36 on the clock and 4:18 on the clock, but you're looking for 11:11. Well, then that's your reality because that's where your attention is, right? So I don't subscribe to that, but I respect that because that person is going to keep that belief until it no longer serves them, and they're either going to evolve their belief or they're not. And if they don't, so be it. But if they do, they're going to realize sooner or later it's not working for them. I have certain beliefs right now that I honestly am questioning that I still think are limited beliefs. But in order for me to change those beliefs, I'm going to have to come out of my resting state, have to step out into the unknown and really check to see and execute in a very different way. Now, to build on that model, then it's going to require 1 foot in the practical world and 1 foot in the mysterious world. Because I can't control all the events that happen in my life, but I can certainly make choices that are going to bring me closer to those experiences. Now, I also know from experience that when I'm living by the hormones of stress and I'm living in survival, that you and I and everybody else is always going to try to control the outcome, to try to force the outcome, to try to get in the way, try to analyze when it's going to happen and how it's going to happen. Now, when that occurs, we're really bad. We're competitive, we're manipulative, we'll hold on to things, we're deceitful, we're greedy, because that's what those chemicals do. So we're always trying to control and force the outcome because, in a sense, we feel separate from something greater.